information from the server will be
Hello and welcome to our special broadcast Atmanirbhar Bharat, and today we'll be discussing in detail for the next 1 hour with our guest the mobile manufacturing in India and what India can do to really become a manufacturing hub as far as the mobile phones are concerned. Of course, a lot of challenges will be there as far as technology and manufacturing components are concerned. We'll be discussing all of that and what great benefits will it accrue to the manufacturing industry in India. We will be discussing all of that in great detail. I am Nancy Kohli and with me is my colleague Aanchal.
शुक्रिया नैन्सी। और जिस तरह से नैन्सी ने कहा कि किस तरह से हम जब मोबाइल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का जिक्र करते हैं तो भारत में आए दिन नए स्मार्टफोन्स लॉन्च ही नहीं हो रहे बल्कि कंपनियां मेड इन इंडिया स्मार्टफोन्स का भी निर्माण कर रही हैं। मोबाइल निर्माता कंपनियों के लिए भारत हमेशा से ही एक बड़ा बाजार रहा और यही वजह है कि कंपनियां भारत में अपनी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैक्ट्रीज का सेटअप कर रही हैं। साथ ही हाल ही में केंद्रीय मंत्री रविशंकर प्रसाद ने ये घोषणा करते हुए बताया था कि भारत अब दुनिया का दूसरा सबसे बड़ा मोबाइल निर्माता देश बन गया है, यानी कि जब हम मैन्युफैक्चरिंग विनिर्माण का जिक्र करते हैं। साथ ही उन्होंने ये भी जानकारी दी कि भारत में अभी तक 300 मोबाइल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट्स सेटअप हो चुकी हैं। ये भारत के लिए एक बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि है। देश में इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को बढ़ावा देने के लिए केंद्र सरकार ने 3 प्रमुख स्कीम्स लॉन्च की हैं। और आइए ग्राफिक्स के जरिए हम समझने की कोशिश करते हैं कि आखिर जो ये मोबाइल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग है, मोबाइल विनिर्माण है, जिसका जिक्र हम कर रहे हैं, वो है क्या। तो भारत दुनिया का दूसरा सबसे बड़ा मोबाइल विनिर्माण वाला देश है, यानी कि मोबाइल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का जब हम जिक्र करते हैं 300 मोबाइल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट्स अब तक सेटअप हो चुकी हैं, जिसका जिक्र हमने अभी आपसे किया। और ये सबसे बड़ी उपलब्धि तो है ही भारत की और साथ ही साथ बढ़ते हुए कदम है भारत की जब हम मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर का जिक्र करते हैं, खासतौर पे जब मोबाइल का जिक्र हो रहा है। और अब तक 330 मिलियन मोबाइल हैंडसेट्स, यानी कि जो हैंडसेट्स हम यूज़ करते हैं वो 330 मिलियन हैंडसेट्स भारत में बनाए गए। और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को बढ़ावा देने के लिए 3 प्रमुख योजनाओं को लॉन्च किया गया है और इन योजनाओं से ये उम्मीद की जा रही है कि 20 लाख रोजगार पैदा होंगे। और जो मोबाइल हैंडसेट्स का घरेलू उत्पादन है, पूरी कोशिश ये है कि 2025 तक 35 से करीबन 40% बढ़ेगा। और इन योजनाओं से जो घरेलू इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग है, यानी कि जो आत्मनिर्भरता, सेल्फ रिलायंस का हम जिक्र करते हैं, वो मजबूत होगा। एक मजबूत इकोसिस्टम हम तैयार कर पाएंगे जब हम आत्मनिर्भर भारत का जिक्र करते हैं। तो तमाम जो 3 स्कीम्स हैं, जब हम इसका आज मंथन करेंगे, हमारे साथ विशिष्ट मेहमानों का पैनल जुड़ेगा, तो 3 स्कीम्स हाल ही में वो हम आज डिस्कस करने वाले हैं और हमारे साथ खास मेहमान जुड़े हुए हैं। आइए सबसे पहले उनका तारुफ हम आपसे करा दें। हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं अरुण मलिक साहब जुड़े हुए हैं, जो कि एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर हैं TIA इंटरनेशनल के। अरुण जी, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है हमारे इस खास शो पर। पहला सवाल मेरा आपसे यही है कि जब हम इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में तेज़ी लाने का जिक्र करते हैं और जिस तरह से प्रधानमंत्री ने ये सपना देखा है कि हमें आत्मनिर्भर भारत की तरफ बढ़ना है, इस पथ पर अग्रसर होना है, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के लिए जो तमाम स्कीम्स हैं वो कितना बड़ा योगदान देंगी आत्मनिर्भर भारत में आगे बढ़ने के लिए।
Well, good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me on board. देखिए, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में स्कीम्स का बहुत मायने है, क्योंकि बेसिकली जो हब इंडिया इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स में बनना चाहता है, उसके लिए जो इंसेंटिव देना पड़ेगा हमारे को चिप मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के लिए, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स के कंपोनेंट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के लिए, क्योंकि सॉफ्टवेयर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में और असेंबलिंग में India is the best. Even for aircraft designing and other challenging things, India is doing very well. But somewhere what we are missing on, जो हम मिस कर रहे हैं, कि हमें जो बल्क मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, जो चिप्स वगैरह की इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स की है, उसके अंदर क्योंकि रिक्वायरमेंट कम होने के कारण वो और इन्वेस्टमेंट ज़्यादा होने के कारण वो सेटअप इंडिया में नहीं किया गया है अभी तक, और जो है भी तो बहुत छोटा है। जैसे ही कोई इंसेंटिव इस फील्ड में दिया जाएगा, तो आई एम श्योर कि इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में जैसे कि हमने पिछले दिनों देखा सोलार मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में, पहले केमिकल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में, फार्मा मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में, कार मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में, इवन बीपीओ ऑपरेशन में, सॉफ्टवेयर में गवर्नमेंट के इंसेंटिव से, सपोर्ट से बहुत बूम आया। आई एम वेरी श्योर कि इसमें अगर थोड़ा सा भी इंसेंटिव दिया जाएगा, और पुल तो इंडिया में है ही है। इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स में हम लोग वाइल वी से कि 130 करोड़ is a problem, but I personally feel 130 crore is an opportunity. और अभी भी हमारी टेलीडेंसिटी इस लेवल पे नहीं पहुंची है कि जितना हमारी रिक्वायरमेंट है।
Okay.
तो पुल हमारे यहाँ बहुत है इंडिया में, अगर जरा सा भी इंसेंटिव दिया जाएगा और इस सेटअप को फाउंडेशन लेवल पे स्ट्रांग बनाया जाएगा, तो बहुत जल्दी हम 2024 का जो टारगेट सेटअप किया जा रहा है वो अचीव कर सकते हैं।
Okay. All right, also joining us is Mr. Arun Shankar. He's a semiconductor professional and an author as well. Thanks, Mr. Shankar, for joining us here on Doordarshan News on a special program. Mr. Shankar, your views here, and adding to what Mr. Malik said, of course, India has emerged as the second largest phone manufacturer in the world, and as far as the exports target is concerned, India's mobile manufacturing is, the industry is aiming for $100 billion worth of exports by 2025. What would you say are really the aims that are that needs to be set out by the mobile manufacturing industry as far as needing the global market access is concerned?
Thank you, Doordarshan, for having me here, and thank you for the previous speaker's note on the chip manufacturing side. So I would tend to believe that India is on target in terms of exporting a lot of mobile phones from India, because the assembly units are already there and they are going to get yet another boost through the PLI scheme, production linked incentive schemes, which is taken off well and seems to be quite popular. The part on the semiconductor chip part or the ICs part, that is where we still lack, as Mr. Arun Malik also pointed out. Those ICs are still imported and then assembled in India, and then these units are, the products are exported from India. So I think we need to start focusing, while we improve and build upon the assembly units that are already getting established in India. India should also start looking strongly at the semiconductor chip manufacturing side, because that is where a big amount of the actual product space is, and the value addition that the assembly units will be bringing might not be as big as the actual silicon semiconductors in it. As far as incentives go, we can talk about it in detail, but the other two schemes, SPECS and EMC2, they have given incentives which the semiconductor fabs can utilize and set up. We can talk in detail about it.
अरुण ममपासी साहब, जिस तरह से हम इंसेंटिव्स का जिक्र कर रहे हैं, तमाम जो तीनों स्कीम्स हैं, आपने पीएलआई का जिक्र किया, स्पेक्स और ईएमसी 2.0, मैं स्पेक्स के बारे में आपसे जानना चाहती हूं, क्योंकि जब हम असेंबलिंग की बात करते हैं, चिप इंपोर्टिंग की बात करते हैं, वो अभी भी आयात की जाती है। तो किस तरह से स्पेक्स के जरिए जब हम बात कर रहे हैं मशीनरी, उपकरण, R&D, यूटिलिटी, वो किस तरह से हम और ज़्यादा इम्प्रूव कर पाएंगे इस स्कीम के जरिए?
डेफिनेटली, थैंक यू फॉर द क्वेश्चन। स्पेक्स में दो चीजें हैं, एक है मुख्य अंश 25% रीइंबर्समेंट ऑन कैपेक्स, दूसरा चीज ये है कि किस किस गुड्स के लिए है ये कैपेक्स अवेलेबिलिटी। तो गुड्स में से इट स्टार्ट्स ऑल द वे फ्रॉम अ मिनिमम इन्वेस्टमेंट 5 crore काइंड ऑफ गुड्स, जैसे कि छोटे छोटे कंपोनेंट्स दैट आर यूज्ड इन द इलेक्ट्रॉनिक इंडस्ट्री, all the way up to a minimum 1000 crore investment semiconductor fab which produces digital or analog or mixed signal ICs. जहां तक मुझे पता है उसमें कोई upper limit नहीं डाला है. And in terms of the capex, what is covered in the capital expenditure, there is plant and machinery, all the associated utilities, there is R&D as well as technology transfer. So it has actually covered a broad range of areas which will definitely go into helping semiconductor fabs which would, they want to set up their units in India. It will go a long way in helping them, but we also need investors to come forth.
Okay. Also, Mr. Malik, let me come back to you now. For India to really become a global player in the mobile manufacturing sector, of course, we have some encouraging data behind us as far as it being the second most country in the world to be that. I would like to ask you, what would the requirements be clearly here? Needing a global market access, would you say, and also the ability to attract large-scale labor, value chain investments, would you say these are going to be the really important components to achieve this target?
See, I mean, our existing strength of labor, our existing, manufacturing environment, and our ability and to desire enhance efficiency, effectiveness of both service as well as manufacturing environment. I mean, pull is phenomenally high from both individual perspective as well as organizational perspective, and this will add humongous value. If you look at service industry, for instance,
Sure.
I mean, suppose see hospitals, the time it takes to get a report from the laboratory is critical. If it takes 4 hours for the request to go to laboratory in a hospital for a critical, report or test to be done and then get back the report. Now, I know hospitals which have started using network and technology and mobile who are able to get it back within a span of 30 minutes because the test takes very short duration. So there's a huge value which can be added, and especially in human life aspect, it's going to play a critical role, as well as, finishing of products like usage of, painting using digital technology, using networking, over and above the great value which we are adding through, internet service providers or managed services. We are managing shipping corporations from India itself. I mean, large ships being managed across the world. I think application of digital network, application of mobile, and application of mobile technology is humongous and is very rewarding for you, for the country. Especially these days, if we not had mobile, how would have transferred money, whatever level of economy which we are operating at today, for doing various transactions, banking, electrical, or insurance, or any other transaction, even salary, is only happening because of मोबाइल एंड द एप्लीकेशंस व्हिच हैव डेवलप्ड।
बिल्कुल मलिक साहब, आपने जो कहा कि मोबाइल एक क्रांति के रूप में जब हम डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शंस का जिक्र करते हैं और ख़ास तौर पर मोबाइल्स के ज़रिए हमने देखा कि किस तरह से दुनिया में बहुत बदलाव हुए हैं तकनीक के लिहाज से। अरुण ममपाजी साहब, मैं ये जानना चाहती हूँ कि जब हम स्कीम्स का जिक्र करते हैं, ख़ास तौर पर एक ऐसा इकोसिस्टम बनाना हम चाहते हैं, जब हम मोबाइल विनिर्माण क्षेत्र का जिक्र करते हैं, तो इकोसिस्टम के लिए इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंडक्टर 2.0 किस तरह का रोल अदा करती है? क्योंकि हम जानते हैं कि इस योजना के जरिए जो तमाम बड़े निर्माण के क्लस्टर्स हैं उनको बढ़ावा मिलेगा, और जब हम ग्लोबल लेवल पर एक बहुत बड़ा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर खड़ा करना चाहते हैं मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के लिहाज से मोबाइल इंडस्ट्री में, उसके लिए मददगार साबित हो सकती है EMC 2.0।
डेफिनेटली मेरा मानना है कि इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग क्लस्टर स्कीम मॉडिफाइड 2.0 उन क्लस्टर्स के लिए बहुत मदद करेगा जिसका कोर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हो सकता है, चिप मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हो सकता है, और आईसी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में ही यानी कि सेमीकंडक्टर फैब के लिए ही बहुत सारे कॉमन फैसिलिटी सेंटर CFCs के यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं। जैसे कि केमिकल इंडस्ट्री चाहिए, उसमें वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट के लिए एक कॉमन यूनिट हो सकता है और सेफ्टी के लिए कॉमन यूनिट हो सकता है, पावर प्लांट चाहिए होगा। तो ये सब चीज़ें कॉमन फैसिलिटी सेंटर के द्वारा करने के लिए EMC 2 में बहुत सारे इंसेंटिव्स दिया हुआ है। स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स उसके लिए लैंड अलॉट करेगा तो 50% लैंड में भी रीइंबर्समेंट दिया हुआ है। और इन सब चीज़ों के इस्तेमाल करके अगर सेंटर कोर में सेमीकंडक्टर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट्स और उसके आजू बाजू में असेंबली यूनिट्स, टेस्टिंग यूनिट्स, R&D यूनिट्स अगर ऐसा डेवलप करेगा तो एक पूरा इकोसिस्टम बन जाएगा। और सेमीकंडक्टर फैब में ना सिर्फ सेमीकंडक्टर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के लिए सेमीकंडक्टर इंजीनियर्स की ज़रूरत है, उसमें ऑटोमेशन है, उसमें आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस का यूटिलिटी हो सकता है। तो ऐसे ऐसे करके एक पूरा इकोसिस्टम अगर बन जाए तो बहुत सारे जॉब्स का भी चांसेस है। पर अगर इसमें सेंट्रल अगर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट है और बहुत सारे मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट्स है, तरह तरह के सेमीकंडक्टरिंग मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैब्स है, तो उसके अराउंड बहुत सारे यूनिट्स आ सकते हैं और इनके द्वारा हमारा प्रोडक्टिविटी भी ज़्यादा बढ़ सकते हैं और जॉब्स भी मिल सकते हैं।
Okay. Mr. Mompazi, the ICEA has of course developed a comprehensive roadmap that aims to utilize these schemes in order to make India the top global mobile manufacturer. Would you also say that, devising this roadmap and of course setting the targets is very important as also emerging an alternative to countries like China and Vietnam, which are of course manufacturing mobile phones in huge numbers all over and exporting as well all over the world?
Definitely, Vietnam, such a small country, is able to make such huge strides. China, of course, we all know. And there is the aspect of security also associated with all of this. Even when 5G becomes more popular and used, the common user itself will have huge security risks unless we make sure that the chips, the ICs are from the right people. In fact, better if we make the ICs in India itself. And then, of course, on the defense sector, if these chips that are used in the electronic equipments that are used in our defense sector, if at all they are from China or in fact from any other country, we do stand a risk. So it is a huge factor. And as you said, setting a target, both in terms of numbers as well as in terms of what is out of a mobile phone or out of an electronic equipment, what are the pieces that we want to actually make in India and not just assemble in India. Setting those targets and working towards them will be extremely important, and those roadmaps will definitely help. The roadmaps should also address the semiconductor IC manufacturing part of it.
मलिक साहब, जिस तरह से अभी हम अरुण ममपाजी जी को सुन रहे थे, साफ तौर पर उन्होंने कहा कि जिस तरह की स्कीम्स का हम जिक्र कर रहे हैं इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में, वो कहीं ना कहीं जॉब क्रिएशन, यानी कि हम जब रोज़गार को बढ़ाने का जिक्र करते हैं तो उसके लिए एक अहम मोर्चा साबित हो सकता है। और उसका जिक्र साफ तौर पर कहा गया है कि इलेक्ट्रॉनिक क्षेत्र में करीबन 20 लाख से ज़्यादा नौकरियां आएंगी जब हम इन स्कीम्स का जिक्र करते हैं। किस तरह से आप इसको देखते हैं, ख़ास तौर पर उन युवाओं के लिए जो अगर इस फील्ड में आकर प्रशिक्षण लेना चाहते हैं, एक नया सेक्टर उभरता हुआ?
देखिए, ना सिर्फ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में बल्कि जब ये प्रोडक्ट मार्केट में जाएंगे तो उनकी सर्विसिंग में, जो कि इज ए ग्रेट अपॉर्चुनिटी। इंडिया इज नॉट ए कंट्री जहाँ के 90% लोग यूज एंड थ्रो नहीं करते, उसको री इंजीनियर, री प्रोसेस, री वर्क कराते हैं, अपग्रेड कराते हैं, ऑगमेंट कराते हैं। आप भी अभी भी जाइए दिल्ली की स्ट्रीट पे, आपको एक स्ट्रीट पे कम से कम 5 या 10% सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स मिलेंगे मोबाइल के। और जब ये नेशन वाइड इकोनॉमिक मॉडल अवेलेबल हो जाएंगे इंडिया के ब्रॉड इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे, तो सर्विसिंग के अंदर जितनी अपॉर्चुनिटी निकलेगी, स्पेशली इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मतलब मोबाइल सर्विसिंग में, विच इज गोइंग टू बी ह्यूज, उसको हम गिनती नहीं कर सकते मेरे ख्याल से। मैं तो एस्टिमेट नहीं लगा सकता, क्योंकि वी आर नॉट, अगेन आई विल से, वी आर नॉट ए यूज एंड थ्रो कंपनी, वी आर ए augmentation. Besides that, every organization, manufacturing or service, needs support, needs somebody to provide courier, needs somebody to make a cup of tea, needs somebody to do various things to support. So there's going to be a whole chain of opportunities for people to participate, for people to earn, for people to grow. And also, of course, exports. I would like to come here, even though you have not asked. Fortunately, not so great, but we have been able to create an emotional connect across the world. Now, emotional connect has to be supported with rational connect. And rational is only if we are good in quality, if we are good in, commercials, and if we have our own manufacturing setup for chips and various other activities, we'll be able to give that kind of quality, reliability, and confidence to customers. And this will help us to, grow opportunities for business, grow opportunities to complete transactions at various stages of value chain in export line also. as well as money transfer, etc.
Sure.
Okay.
So it's a huge opportunity.
Okay. All right. Mr. Mampazi, I would like to come to you now. This plan, of course, as mentioned, has 3 stages. It has restart, restore and resurgence. How important are you seeing these 3 R's going forward from here? And, what all would it really entail to reach the target set out?
Okay, if you are asking me from the point of view of a semiconductor fab or a manufacturing units being set up in India, restore and restart are very important because unfortunately we have tried in India 2007, 2014, 2016, multiple attempts were made to start semiconductor manufacturing in India. None of them took off, and now it's extremely important that these attempts are restarted or restored. And in fact, I would even say that there should be a dedicated person in the Prime Minister's office or so following these up and expediting these schemes and making sure that these are utilized at the earliest. In terms of resurgence, yes, first India needs to stand up on its own feet in terms of IC manufacturing, and then we can walk, and then we can run, and then we can fly. But yes, resurgence is, unless you have that kind of an aim that we will build a resurgent India through real electronic manufacturing in India, you need to keep that aim in front of you. But let's walk before we can run.
Okay.
मंपाजी साहब, जिस तरह से हम इस बात पर फोकस कर रहे हैं कि तमाम जो ये स्कीम्स हैं ये कहीं ना कहीं बढ़ावा दे रही हैं इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में भारत को आगे बढ़ने के लिए, लेकिन सबसे अहम चीज़ है R&D, रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट। उसको लेकर किस तरह से काम करने की ज़रूरत है, क्योंकि हम जानते हैं कि हर एक आप गली में निकल जाइए तो सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स आपके पास हैं, कंपटीशन बहुत ज़्यादा है। किस तरह से हम रिसर्च और डेवलपमेंट को और ज़्यादा मजबूत कर सकते हैं?
जी देखिए, एक सेमीकंडक्टर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट में खास तौर से 2 तरफ के इनपुट हो सकते हैं। एक है डिज़ाइन, यानी कि फिजिकल डिज़ाइन, लेआउट डिज़ाइन जो बोलते हैं। ये डिज़ाइन एनवायरनमेंट इंडिया में ऑलरेडी बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग है। Almost every company who has a strong design house has a presence in India. A lot of them have made breakthrough designs, or what you might want to call as IPs. The companies have them in India already. They have their R&D units in India. There are a lot of amounts spent on those R&D units also. So uske hisab se I don't think there will be a problem. Definitely it will be helpful for government to have schemes to boost them and also to tie it up with the manufacturing units.
Okay.
दूसरी जो चीज़ है टेक्नोलॉजी रिलेटेड है, जो फैब में कैसे कैसे टेक्नोलॉजीज यूज़ कर सकते हैं, और जैसे कि कैसे एडवांस केमिकल्स, एडवांस फोटोरेसिस्ट, इन सब चीज़ों में हमारे जो एकेडमिक इंस्टीट्यूट्स है, IICs, IITs, इन सब जगहों पे जो R&D फैब्स है ऑलरेडी, उधर बहुत कटिंग एज स्टडी ऑलरेडी चल रहा है। और मिसिंग ये है कि उन सबको जोड़ने के लिए एक कमर्शियल फैब, एक या फिर एक क्लस्टर ऑफ फैब्स होनी चाहिए, ताकि हमारे ये जो स्ट्रेंथ जो शायद अभी भी बिगिनिंग स्टेजेस में है एक तरफ से, बट इट्स अ बैक एंड फोर्थ। अगर फैब है इंडिया में, so they get more opportunity to do the R&D, and the fab can in turn utilize their strength.
Okay.
So it is a back and forth, and if at all, these schemes definitely will help in the R&D also.
All right, Mr. Mampazi, of course, one of the important components to achieving this target is going to be incentivizing the global leading firms in India, and also the industry body has made a bunch of recommendations to make India a mobile manufacturing hub. And those includes a lot of steps like, of course, successful implementation of the PLI, creating a conducive policy environment. How important are you seeing these aspects really becoming a very important component in making India the mobile manufacturing hub, that they need to be implemented in full letter and spirit?
Definitely. I think the policies are important. But at the same time, there is, unless they are properly utilized, unless they reach the right people, policies as such are of no use. So it is extremely important that the organizations connected to the industry, CIIs and so on, talk more about these schemes, bring it to the investors, be it Indian investors or be it FDI kind of investors, it is extremely important that we talk about these schemes. The industry set up conferences or WebEx calls and so on to talk about it, publicize it, and help any potential investors or global player. For example, a lot of these semiconductor fabs manufacturers are used to the environment outside India. They'll have a lot of questions. Infrastructure कैसा है, गवर्नमेंट के पॉलिसीज और उसके एप्लीकेशंस जिसमें इतना कितना टाइम लगता है. They'll have a lot of questions, and there should be an environment created where a group of people who know both the government side, the India atmosphere, as well as the semiconductor side of things, should be there. A group or an initiative should be there to connect these two.
Sure. Okay.
ओके मलिक साहब, जिस तरह से हम जिक्र कर रहे हैं कि सेल्फ रिलायंस के पथ पर हमें आगे बढ़ना है, इसमें मैं ये जानना चाहती हूँ कि कैसे जो तमाम ये स्कीम्स जिनका डिस्कशन अभी हम कर रहे हैं, समझने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, ये स्टार्टअप्स के लिहाज से कितनी अहम साबित हो सकती है उन यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के लिए जो इस फील्ड में आगे जाना चाहते हैं?
मैं इसमें एक सजेशन देना चाहूँगा
जी.
देखिए, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ टेलीकॉम और ITI पहले सेटअप हुआ था, वो एक फेज तक जा चुका क्योंकि रिसर्च वाज नॉट ए कंटिन्यूअल एक्टिविटी. वी डेवलप्ड एन एक्सचेंज व्हिच वाज गुड इन रूरल, दैट परफॉर्म्ड वेरी वेल. Nothing much happened beyond that. Recommendation would be that some of the institutions, whether private or government, things like Indian Institute of Science or ITIs or some other private institutions, are motivated to set up incubation centers. They already have incubation centers in which they focus on, some of the, MTechs or BTechs, as well as some of the staff, that means the senior personnel from the institution, should be totally aligned to these individuals, and they should set up this incubation center and should be motivated to set up this organization, which will also lead to startup as well as continual research by the right minds. Otherwise, if a research setup is, I'm sorry to say, if it's given to government, it goes to some extent, and beyond that, people feel that they have arrived.
जी.
Whereas these youngsters, which are very creative, and my paradigm is they are very high in ethics also in today's paradigm. They want to demonstrate success. We have demonstrated success for an international organization, then why not for India? I think such kind of partnerships, arrangements need to be done, which continually bring in fresh brain as well as lead to startups also.
Sure. Okay. Okay, all right. Mr. Mampazi, I would like to come to you now. Of course, the boost has been given to the entire electronic space and more so to the mobile segment. And, what would you like to tell our viewers here, why this is so very important? Because this is clearly the fastest growing segment in the entire electronic space.
Yes, definitely. I think Mr. Arun Malik just mentioned also about the startup ecosystem. India is immensely talented. We have a huge young population. A lot of people are these days taking, quote unquote, taking the risk of getting into startups and trying out something. So, for the viewers, it is extremely important that they keep up with two sides of the story. One side is what is the global market, what are the possibilities, and second is what is the government of India trying to do, what are the possibilities. I'll elaborate on this for just 2 minutes. On the side of the global market, the entire semiconductor market is supposed to be at around $650 billion by year 2025. Out of that, the foundry space, the manufacturing space is about $100 billion of market. So there's a huge space out there. Now, in terms of startups that are there in India, there are, from what I understand, there are 2 or 3 types. There are some of them are already utilizing the incubation centers, but if they come to a stage where they need to scale their production, incubation centers will not be enough. They will need a commercial semiconductor fab, and in the absence of something happening in India, they will have to send it abroad. There are also design houses startups, and especially in 5G, where things are not yet clear what kind of design environment will be there. It is extremely important that the design house and the fab go back and forth, do multiple iterations. And imagine if you have a fab or a manufacturing unit in India, that will be extremely helpful. And a fab that is needed for 5G, an analog fab, is not as costly as a digital fab. Now, in terms of the other side of the government policies and schemes, that is where the TV channels, and I'm glad Doordarshan is doing this program, has this immense capability to taking the information about these schemes to the masses. And I hope through programs like this, that bridge will be connected. People understanding the market side of things as well as the opportunity side of things and the government schemes.
साथ ही ममपाजी साहब, जिस तरह से प्रधानमंत्री हमेशा कहते हैं, जैम को लेकर जिक्र करते हैं, यानी कि जनधन, आधार और मोबाइल की जो ये ट्रिनिटी है, ये अपने आप में बहुत बेहतरीन साबित हुई जब हम डीबीटी, डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफ़र का जिक्र करते हैं। मान लीजिए कोई स्कीम है जिसमें आप लिंक्ड हैं, आपके तुरंत मोबाइल पर मैसेज आ जाता है। किस तरह से आप मानते हैं कि मोबाइल की जो ये दुनिया है, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का जब हम जिक्र करते हैं, कितनी अहम और मददगार साबित होती है जो तमाम वेलफेयर फ्लैगशिप स्कीम्स है सरकार की, वो लोगों तक पहुँचाने के लिए?
I don't think anybody has a doubt in the fact that the JAM has really been a hit. एक ज़माना था जब गवर्नमेंट की अगर कोई रिम्बर्समेंट मिलना है, कोई गवर्नमेंट से पैसा मिलना है, तो इतना वेट करना पड़ता था, शायद पता नहीं ऑफिस में जाके आके जाके उसमें ही इतना खर्चा होता था कि जो पैसा मिलता था. So now all of that has changed. You get a message saying that this much amount has been credited into your bank account. So what has also happened is this huge empowerment down to the commonest man or somebody who's not that well off. Mobile has connected them directly to governance, connected them directly to these policies and schemes or through which they can get incentives, and this is only going to get bigger and bigger. So the mobile market and how we are going to utilize the mobile linked services for anything connected to the government is only going to get bigger.
Okay, all right. Let me come to you now, Mr. Malik. Of course, like we've been discussing, incentivizing the global leading firms in India is a very important part of this entire target that has been set out. What can really be done to really prompt these companies to open more factories in India?
Basically, we need to offer, one is free access to the market, free access to the manufacturing, land and various other, smooth flow in transactions with the regulatory authorities as well as policy makers in the country, which I've seen is a lot of bottleneck. I mean, that's as per my experience. Hopefully it has improved a lot in the last few years. If these things are made smooth, that means availability of land, availability of people is already there, availability of qualified, competent manpower is already there. I mean, the approvals from the government, whether they are pollution control approvals or electrical approvals, authority approvals or regulatory approvals, licenses, etc. If these things are made smooth, I'm sure, investors or companies outside the world are looking forward to opportunity. They are looking towards India as a base. And of course, infrastructure is there. I don't think so. It's about.
Okay.
There are locations which provide them good residential facilities and various other style of life which is being offered in India is more or less equivalent to what is available. More or less, not exactly same. But those are few things because I worked in various kind of segments. Different industries in chemical, also in pharma and computer science, etc. They look for certain facilities which are already available in India. So just making their entry smooth, making them, smooth through the corridors of the government, of regulatory, etc. is good enough, of course.
Okay, all right.
ममपाली साहब, जिस तरह से मलिक साहब ने कहा कि ये कंड्यूसिव एनवायरनमेंट की ज़रूरत है और इसका जिक्र लगातार प्रधानमंत्री कहते हैं कि हमारे पास 3 Ds बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, डिमांड, डेमोग्राफी और साथ ही साथ डिविडेंड, और जब हम फैक्ट्रीज लगाने का जिक्र करते हैं तो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के साथ साथ अगर हम कर के मोर्चे पर देखें तो जीएसटी ने काफ़ी कुछ चीज़ें आसान की हैं। किस तरह से आप देखते हैं कि जो तमाम ये बदलाव लाए गए हैं वो फैक्ट्रीज लगाने में, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट्स को सेटअप करने में कितना ज़्यादा अहम रोल अदा करते हैं?
हाँ जी, डेफिनेटली जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर जी ने बोला है, बिल्कुल, these are all very very important things, but I will actually add one more point. In fact, जो Mr. Arun Malik had just said, the conducive environment and the confidence building measures. So I would in fact go to the extent of saying that if Prime Minister Modi can mention even a few words about the need for having semiconductor manufacturing in India, let's say in his Mann Ki Baat or one of those DD addresses, that will go a long way in boosting confidence of both Indians and NRIs and foreign investors. And what is needed is what I say as an FPI before the FDI, which is a friendly publicity initiative, FPI, friendly publicity initiative, and then the foreign FDI will come. So I think we need to do it right away, build the confidence of the investors, make things easy, make sure that people don't get caught up in all the policies and going back and forth. And towards that, which is why I suggested previously that we might need a dedicated technocrat, possibly working out of the Prime Minister's office or so, who can track all of this and make sure that the concerns are addressed. The people, the investors who come forward or the companies who come forward, both in the mobile assembly, manufacturing segments, whichever segment, they are properly taken care of.
Okay. Mr. Mampazi, we have spoken in detail about the SPEC scheme. Let's try and understand the PLI scheme. What would you say? How would this really be a game changer for the nation and the industry?
I think in my assessment, the PLI has already been a hit. It basically says any incremental production that you have over and above the 2019-20 base year is going to be incentivized by a certain percentage. And Government of India is, I believe, trying to choose 5 big players who are India-based and 5 big players from outside. And from what I've heard from the news, a lot of people have come forth. Some of them had some concerns about some clauses in it, and I think government has listened to them and updated those clauses. And the outlay for the PLI scheme is about 40,995 crores or so, which is a huge amount. In fact, coming from the semiconductor manufacturing side, I wish SPECS and EMC too also had a good outlay, but I understand that hopefully the government will consider that if investors come forth. But yes, I think PLI scheme is really a game changer. That has already started showing its effects.
Sure.
And we will see the numbers in a couple of years booming.
जी मलिक साहब, जिस तरह से हम इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का जिक्र कर रहे हैं तो इससे जुड़े जो तमाम एलाइड सेक्टर्स हैं, हम हमेशा समझते हैं कि जब भी कोई स्कीम लॉन्च होती है किसी भी सेक्टर के लिए तो उससे जुड़े हुए जो तमाम सेक्टर्स होते हैं उन्हें भी फ़ायदा होता है। किस तरह से आप फ़ायदा होता हुआ देखते हैं जो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग से जुड़े हुए सेक्टर्स हैं उनको लेकर?
एक्चुअली देखिए, इस टाइम जो MSME है, which has been a strength of our country in helping develop, especially automobile industry in the country. But MSME to compete, lot of investment and electronics is to be implemented to produce that precision products, to produce reliable products, to produce it at lower cost, to produce it. Value adding in the operation has to increase radically using electronics, which is to compete with Germany or any other country in the world, which they are doing a lot. In service industry, we have already done it to some extent. Lot has to be done more. But in manufacturing, I personally feel which we need to sustain our leadership position in automobile and mechanical organization. Electronics is going to play a very key role in that. I mean, of course, in other services also, like whether it's railways or transportation or shipment, etc., it will play a key role. But this foundation and huge number of MSMEs, they are scared because the investment in electronics is quite steep as on date because it's not available at low cost.
Okay. Sure.
The moment it's made available at low cost, they are very sure that they will be able to add more value to their original equipment manufacturers, whether it's car manufacturers or housing goods manufacturers. I think that's going to be a huge change which is required, which has become a mandate for us with some other changes which are happening in the mechanical organization, especially in Germany and other parts of the world.
Okay. Mr. Mampazi, of course, you know, these schemes have been launched with an aim to boost production in India, and like we've been discussing as well, how the allied sectors will benefit. But important aspect of this schemes is also going to be an increase in the substantial investments coming into the country. How important are you going to be seeing that for the overall development of other infrastructure as well?
I think it's interlinked in the sense that we have a $5 trillion target and so on in a few years. So these inflow of investment is definitely going to help in that. But at the same time, we have to make sure that the appropriate infrastructure is also developed in India, so that more and more comes. So it's a cycle. Some investment come, you utilize, you as in the government utilizes it to further provide better infrastructure and more infrastructure, and then it is going to bring more investment. So hopefully these schemes have triggered that cycle. Somebody has to make sure that the cycle keeps going at a fast pace as possible.
ममपाजी साहब, जिस तरह से हमने एलाइड सेक्टर का जिक्र किया, निवेश की बात की, तमाम जो कई फ्लैगशिप स्कीम्स है वो भी कहीं ना कहीं इंटरलिंक्ड है जब हम इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को बढ़ावा देने का जिक्र करते हैं. देखिए, डिजिटल इंडिया के साथ जुड़ा हुआ है, मेक इन इंडिया, क्योंकि हम चाहते हैं कि मोबाइल का एक एक कलपुर्जा जो बने वो भारत में बनकर तैयार हो. किस तरह से आप देखते हैं कि जो ये तमाम फ्लैगशिप स्कीम्स हैं उनको भी एक जबरदस्त बूस्टर डोज मिलता हुआ?
हाँ, जहाँ तक मुझे अभी तक पता चला, और the way I think Prime Minister Modi has started acting or working on these from year 2014, I think he has first built the entire ecosystem where these electronic equipments will be needed. For example, when the Jan Dhan accounts were opened and then the messages come through mobiles, and then the Aadhaar was also linked with your accounts. So naturally there was a boost in the need for more and more mobiles. And then he had made sure that assembly units come to India, so that these are actually made in India in the sense of assembled in India, and that boosted further employment and so on. So I think he has a big vision, maybe a 10-year or 15-year vision, and pieces of them are coming together, and all these allied sectors are coming together, and every scheme I think that he has brought up in terms of Digital India, Make in India, Vocal for Local, everything I think fits into the bigger puzzle. Certain pieces of the puzzle are still not there yet, like for example the IC manufacturing. I hope he emphasizes those also in the coming years, and then we will have the complete picture here in India.
Sure. Mr. Mampazi, now, of course, this will lead to job creation, but another benefit that's going to be coming in is the skilled manpower. With the mobile manufacturing aim being set out, one of the great benefits is skilled manpower. Mr. Mampazi, what would you say?
Indeed, as I said, India is a young country. I interact with people on Twitter. I had a few articles out in terms of the need for semiconductor fabs in India and so on, and based on those articles I get a lot of feedback from Twitter and through emails, and I see a lot of talent. Youngsters are daring to go. In certain areas they have been lucky enough to have that special skill sets, for example in the software side and the artificial intelligence side and machine learning and so on, but they also need avenues to utilize these skill sets, and that is where they will really put it to an application knowledge. There are a lot of startups that have come up. Some of them are already utilizing their skill set. But now with these additional boosts that are going to happen to the electronic manufacturing sector, they will be, the youngsters, the skilled manpower will be able to put to test what they've learned or what they've experimented. And that, I think in the next 10 years, if done properly, will take India to a completely different level in terms of what kind of skilled manpower we have.
बिल्कुल, युवाओं को प्रशिक्षण देना बहुत अहम है, और जिस तरह का जिक्र हम कर रहे हैं कि हर हाथ को हुनर, उसके लिहाज से ये सेक्टर काफ़ी बड़ा जॉब क्रिएटर सेक्टर साबित हो सकता है। मलिक साहब, लेकिन जिस तरह से आत्मनिर्भर भारत की राह पर चलते हुए प्रधानमंत्री ने साफ तौर पर आह्वान किया है कि लोकल को वोकल बनाना है, ऐसे में जितनी भी ये स्कीम्स हैं जो इंसेंटिव दे रही हैं, कहीं ना कहीं ये हमको ग्लोबल चैंपियन बनने में तो मदद करेंगी ही करेंगी, लेकिन जो लोकल फर्म्स हैं उनको वैश्विक पटल पर ले जाने के लिए भी अहम मददगार साबित होंगी।
Yes, I totally agree with you. I think the local participation at ground level, which anyway is increasing because of digitization. I mean, a person sitting in village is able to operate a BPO or manufacture a product or provide service because the knowledge he acquires while working or while participating in a digital learning platform is phenomenally higher. Availability of knowledge, not only domestic, international, is available to them. And so with this knowledge availability and application opportunities, which if offered through this incentives which are being given, will make him connect or make him position himself and his product or his services to people across the world. And more people are learning the skills, and especially with electronics coming in, I mean, more effort and investment on electronics on ground is going to make a huge change. See, let me share you an experience. Even filling an Aadhaar form was a huge experience for my servant, for my driver, because he felt, oh, he came back and told me these are few things which I have never heard about, I've never seen. So now onwards, he's actually able to do Paytm, he's able to operate ATM, he's able to, download various things using YouTube, etc. I think their awareness, before learning happens, awareness happens, and once learning happens, application happens, they also realize their positioning can be done across the world. It's going to make a huge difference in terms of quantum shift in the minds of people and also quantum positioning of people across the world. I think we've been missing it, to my mind. I mean, the sooner it starts, and while this difficulty which we are facing in terms of corona is also, on one side it's bad, but second side it's actually helping people to learn these skills.
Sure.
And this is also, and there is a requirement or need in the mind of people, even at senior level or even at age of 75, 80, how he can talk to his granddaughter in US or Canada or Japan. So I think huge learning is already happening. More and more will happen if this is made more available, and positioning need not go through traditional routes of advertisements or expensive routes of reaching out to clients or potential clients. This will happen far more economically to the people in interiors of India and for the people sitting across the world.
Okay. Mr. Mampazi, how important would you say this balance is going to be, creating a local market as well, skilling the manpower here in India, and also in fact incentivizing the global leading firms? How important is that balance going to be going forward towards the target?
I think it has to be looked at segment by segment. In certain segments, like for example in the fab side or the semiconductor manufacturing side, there are hardly any local players. There is an SEL in Mohali, but it's limited production. So definitely we need global players to come in. Whether the investor is Indian or global, the people who run the show, at least to begin with, will be global, will have to be global. But in certain other segments, for example, in the mobile assembly or manufacturing or the production side of the mobiles and so on, and certain small products in electronics, I agree there is a local ecosystem or local set of producers, and there is a global set of producers. But I believe that there can be a good balance between both encouraging and hand-holding the local players without running into challenges with global players. I think there is enough for both. India is a country of, as of now, probably 1.38 billion. So there should be enough for both local players and global players. And I think it's important that both grow helping each other.
और समय कम है ममपाजी साहब, बस मैं यही जानना चाहती हूँ कि जिस तरह से प्रधानमंत्री ने आह्वान किया है कि हमें इस आपदा को, यानी कि जब हम सभी कोरोना महामारी से लड़ रहे हैं, उसे अवसर में बदलना है और ऐसे में इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को बढ़ावा देने के लिए तमाम स्कीम्स लॉन्च की जाती हैं, अपने आप में एक उपलब्धि है भारत के लिए और साथ ही साथ आगे बढ़ने के लिए एक अलग रास्ता। मिस्टर ममपाजी,
sorry, what is the question part of it? Can you
ममपाजी
repeat?
जी, मैं ये कह रही थी कि जिस तरह से प्रधानमंत्री ने आह्वान किया है कि हमें आपदा को अवसर में बदलना है और ऐसे में इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के क्षेत्र में तमाम स्कीम्स का लॉन्च होना एक अपने आप में बहुत प्रगतिशील रास्ता आगे बढ़ने के लिए।
डेफिनेटली अब देखिए, जब कोरोना टाइम आ गया, लॉकडाउन आ गया, तो बहुत सारे चीज ऑनलाइन हो गया।
जी।
यू हैव योर क्लासेस हैपनिंग ऑनलाइन, you have conferences have been going virtual. So this is the opportunity. This is it opens up immense opportunity. And if you notice, the global semiconductor manufacturing sector did not go down. It if anything, it is expanding. A couple of big players have announced their plans in US and in South Korea, for example. And India should not miss the boat. This has opened up huge opportunities. An entirely new, different world of virtual meetings and so on have opened up. And this is the right time India should pitch. And I think Prime Minister Modi is doing the right thing in introducing all these schemes, not wasting time or not being bogged down by the challenges that Corona brings in. But it's also important that these schemes are taken given the proper publicity, especially because, for example, semiconductor manufacturing, it links different sectors, the defense sector, the core electronic IT and the electronics sector, even the health sector and so on, because every product needs electronics. So it is important that from the Prime Minister's side itself, there is a kind of a coordination to make sure that each segment helps each other and these schemes are taken to their right people.
Okay, all right. With that, we are winding up this special broadcast of the Atmanirbhar Bharat, and thanks very much Mr. Arun Mampazi and Mr. Arun Malik, both of you, for joining us and sharing your perspectives with us. With that, it's a wrap. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, but with a different topic, of course, for you. Stay tuned.
नमस्कार।